Hi everyone. Welcome to our farm, which is actually a forest. I hope you see the beautiful leaves of the trees, the greens, because nature is always healing and uplifting. And we all know now that we have a very severe crisis, not just in the Philippines, but all over the world. And maybe the first thing is let's look at this crisis, this COVID-19. Why is it different from all the other crises we have encountered in the past, which are many, like disasters, earthquakes, volcano eruptions, and many other crises, disasters that we have been able to deal with? I think we have to be aware that the main difference is this COVID-19 is has a lot of unknown. We don't know what it is. We don't know exactly how to deal with it. And so we're all trying hard to find ways. And in the process, because it's such an unknown, there is more anxiety and uncertainty and destabilization and affecting our equilibrium as people. So as leaders, I think we also need to convey to our people, the people, that this is that we understand why this crisis is more severe in terms of anxiety and depression and causing a lot of stress, major stress on everyone. Working people, professionals, mothers, fathers, families, communities, no? Affecting everything and everyone. So maybe the next thing is let's talk about what's happening. For example, social distancing and quarantine. What does that mean? What are the psychological effects of social distancing, for example? I think it's more accurate to call it physical distancing because it's really physical distancing doesn't mean emotional distancing because even if we're physically distanced, we still can connect emotionally and socially. So I think we need to take advantage of that knowledge that physical distancing doesn't necessarily lead to emotional distancing. In fact, sometimes we're so close to each other at home, but we hardly talk. So that's emotional distancing and physically being close. So when we talk of social distancing, let's talk of how we can also be emotionally not distant. Remember that one basic psychological need of every human being, of all of us, is to be connected to each other. And I think this is what we also have to emphasize. This crisis has connected us to each other more than ever before. And even not just family, community, but globally. But then there are also stresses that come with being connected in terms of the quarantine. So families are quarantined and they're home 24/7. Parents are home with their children, which is actually a new thing we have to deal with. It's something that is actually not easy. It can cause a lot of conflict, a lot of arguments in the family. So one thing maybe principle we need to also remember is that uh, in a family, especially the Filipino family, it's a system. So every stress of one member affects every other member, whether they like it or not. Sa Tagalog, ang sakit ng kalingkingan ay nararamdaman ng buong katawan. So we have to see how we deal with each other in terms of family, how we deal with each other in terms of groups of, let's say, leaders in a corporation. That's like family in a way, but it's how we deal with each other when we are close to each other, uh, coping with the crisis that we are all involved in. Actually, there are some tips that have been going around, and I think one of them, for example, is um, be tuned in, no, to each other, be aware, first of all, of what you yourself, take care of your own feelings first before you can take care of another. As a leader, you have to know exactly what's going on inside you. You have to have mastery of your own emotions before you can really deal with your employees or with the people around you. And the same thing with parents, you have to be very aware of what's going on inside you, have a handle on it, have a hold on it so that you don't project it to other people in a family, to the children especially. So while working together at home, working together at home, meaning we are not really together physically, but you are together intellectually and emotionally. So it's really important, first of all, as leaders, for you to practice mindfulness. That's what I would suggest. What does that mean? It means, first of all, that you are aware of what you're feeling at the moment. Am I afraid? Am I anxious? What am I thinking? What's my body feeling? Where is it hurting, etc. That awareness is essential for you to be able to relate better to others, because if you're not aware what's going on inside you, if you don't own your emotion, if you're angry and you deny it, then you project it to the people you're working with. So the first task is to look at yourself now. Pause. This crisis has forced us to do something very, very important. To pause, to stop and look within. What's going on inside me now? What kind of emotions do I have? How do I handle this intense emotion, this intense stress, fear that I'm feeling now? First, we have to own it. We have to say to myself what I'm feeling. I am afraid. I am anxious. I am stressed. I feel that this is going too long and I don't know what's going to happen. Acceptance is the first way to go. When you deny an intense feeling, it has power over you. But when you own it, you say it, articulate it, you have more power over it because you are labeling it and putting it in its place. So I think that's the first thing we can do. Can you do that as leaders now? Can you look into yourself and see how you feel and own it? Because any feeling is something you can deal with. Intense emotions are there, but they will pass. It's like the ocean where the wave, there's a wave, but the ocean remains the same. The sky has clouds, but the sky remains the same. So you are bigger. You're bigger than your emotion. You are more than your emotion. So there's a part of you, which is the mindful part, that can deal with this intense emotion. Like Thich Nhat Hanh, the famous Zen master, says that when you're very angry and you have intense emotion, that's like a baby in the next room, and you are the mother or the father in the next room. And when your baby is crying, you go there, you go and embrace the baby and calm it down. The baby and the mother or the father are both you. Those are the energies inside you. The mindfulness energy is the energy inside you that can calm down the intense emotion also inside you. So that's basic. Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe you will probably, I would hope that you have more specific questions because this is a little bit general. But let me go a little bit farther in terms of how we handle this. There's another way that's important is how do we see this? What is the meaning of this? What is a bigger perspective that we can have in dealing with this crisis? Well, we have been told, and it's really good to remember, that this crisis has brought us to stop, to see what we have done to nature, to see what we have taken for granted, people in our families maybe, people in the workplace who we know, because we're so busy, our lives are so hectic, so we keep on moving, doing, but we forget our important relationships with our workmates, with our office mates, and essentially also, especially with our families. So this quarantine is forcing us to be aware of the people close to us that we're working with or living with that we may have taken for granted or we may not never had time to be with, to feel with, to talk with, to share stories with, to share emotions with. So maybe that's one perspective we can have, that this has jolted us, not just us, jolted us to take care of our environment, to take care of the relationships we have, which is the most important thing in our lives, and to, in other words, to be mindful. What I'd like to do in the next sessions is to give you very specific mindfulness exercises that are applicable every day and that people have told me have changed the way they deal with stress and the way the way they live. No? Mindfulness is not a religion. It's not. It's a practice. It's a way of life, no? That gives us space to be joyful. Of course, that's a big step from what I'm talking about. But I think there will be exercises you will find useful when we go on to the next sessions. So, yun na lang muna for now. Hope everybody's okay there. See you later. Thank you.